Welcome, my brothers and my sisters, to the Blazing Beard Bulls blog. And although you know the Blazing Beard likes to get crazy, we got to get down to business tonight because it's late and I've been up thinking about the ghost of Michael Jordan. And I've been thinking about the playoffs. So we got to get to that business, but I just thought I'd show you, ooh, Blazing Beard's fly new bowling shirt that I got because some sucker fool that's got a lot of money decided to sell it for nothing on eBay. And it was from the charity Bulls bowling event this year. So big score for the Blazing Beard. This is my copy of the Bible, right? AKA, for Bulls fans, the Bible, Sam Smith's The Jordan Rules. And I've been reading this and carried it around with me and thinking about it for like the last 3 months. And you know, like, what does it take to have a team that could get deep into the playoffs or that could actually win a ring, right? Because we're kind of spoiled as Bull fans. We've seen a lot, and Michael Jordan's done a lot, but what does it take, and what are the indicators? So here's my rundown for the playoffs for the Bulls that are the indicators of the things that we have, that we don't have, that some teams, but that you might need, all right? So health. Definitely. Now health is like one of the most important things that you could possibly have going into the playoffs. If your team isn't healthy, if your stars aren't healthy, you don't have a chance or much of a chance to be able to win. We're looking at relative health right now going into the playoffs. Teams must fear you in some way. Look, I think a really big thing, and it talks about it, is that these Bulls were beating other teams before they even stepped foot on the court, and that was early on because it was like a big deal to play the Bulls. And you knew you might get housed, and so you got to have some fear. And there are some teams out there that have that, maybe fear of the three-point threat or fear of like a main dominant player. And the Bulls have some of that, but that leads to consistency. And for teams to fear you, you need to be consistent. And Pau Gasol said the other night in his postgame, we've got to get more consistent, especially during and for the playoffs. And I think that's been the thing, right? The up and the down, the what? We're losing by 19, we're winning by 19, then we're losing a game to sub-500 teams. We're not coming out playing in the first quarter, and then we're almost catching up. We've seen this kind of non-consistent play all year. And that's really kind of what concerns me the most as this Bulls team rolls into the playoff this year. I think you need to have an X factor or factors that are not your primary stars. This year has been the emergence of Jimmy Butler, but it has now also been the emergence of Tony Snell, and now the emergence of our man Niko Mirotic. That's right, the other beard, the big beard. And he is an X factor. He is the X factor because you've got a guy that can score 30 points even though he's a rookie and players don't know how to defend him. So you've got to be able to have that. And you've got to have momentum going to the playoffs. Last week when we won a couple in a row, Joe almost had the triple-double. I was, yes, we're getting that momentum. And then, be up by 18 on a team and then lose and then win. You know, we can't pat ourselves in the back for the Charlotte win because that's something that you have to do, especially now as it's getting to the end of the year. In the Jordan Rules, it's like they were searching for identity and they were infighting and nothing was perfect. But things started to come together after the All-Star break at the end of January, and then they started to really push teams out of the way. And we haven't seen that from our Bulls yet this year. Look, you've got to have veteran poise. We finally have it, and we haven't had a player like Pau since maybe Brad Miller, a big guy that can step back, make an 18, 20-foot jump shot, keep the defenders that are the big guys underneath that want to cheat all the time honest, because now they've got to come out. Same thing with Niko, and so we're seeing, though, a vet poise because he knows what it's like to win a championship. He's going to impart that to these guys, and now we've got something that I think you need as well. You've got to have a great coach, and he's not a Zen master like Phil Jackson, but Tibbs is our guy, and unlike Popovich, who is a hard ass, but then he also bonds with his players. You often hear about the players like, I don't know what Tibbs does in his free time. Doesn't seem like he has a personal life. So I don't think he's close like that. He might be all serious all the time, but he is a great coach. And so we got to focus on the now, right? You can't, as a fan, focus on the past or the future. We have to be looking right now. So forget about who's going to be coaching in a year if it does or doesn't work out, or who's going to be starring. That's what you got to do. You got to have a great coach. You got to have great fans. I thought in the Golden State game earlier on in the season when they were just the first three that they hit, they were off the hook like a college game. It was madness in the house. And we've got to have better fans, right? Fans that aren't on the cell phones the whole time, fans that are engaged for 48 minutes. And that's another thing we need, the will to play for 48 minutes. If you've got to have it and the fans got to have it the whole time, the players have to have it. And we've seen it missing for a quarter or a half at a time, and we still have a chance to win a game. And you need some luck and some good fortune, because rolling into these playoffs with everything that can happen to you, you've got to have a ball bounce your way, and it's not just the hard hustle and muscle, which this team does have, but it's also a little bit of luck, because it takes something just short of a miracle to win a ring. And yes, we're used to the Bulls back in the day, but it's the ghost of Jordan that hangs over this team, with referees who are, and players and coaches. Look, if you played against Jordan at some point, or that Bulls team, you are hurt 20 years later, and it shows. So we've got to force and impose our will and get that ghost of Jordan off of us, so that we can win ring number 7 and something in this new era to purport and throw this, this Bulls franchise into the next phase, which is beyond Jordan. So very important to look at the past, but we've got to stay in the moment, and I think the Bulls absolutely can do it. So, my brothers and my sisters, this is my first year. We've got over 8,000 views. We have a lot of subscribers and a lot of friends passing on the good word, so thank you very much, and continue to do so, and I want you to see red and remember what I said, because if we can pull these things together, we just could win another championship. And I think we've got a lot of the components and the indicators in place, but we've got to be able to put it together. And that can be, like I said, next to a miracle or next to an impossibility too. But I think we can do it. Keep that in mind. Spread this on to your brothers and sisters. Peace, and I'll see you later. If they don't find me first. And do we have a sponsorship? No. Crown Royal sponsor us? No. Does Weed Map sponsor us? Well, maybe, because, puff, puff, pass, pass, love, love, and give, give. See ya. All Bulls.